All right, let's bring in Larry Kudlow now. You know Larry. He's the National Economic Council director. He's with the administration. And Larry, so much pressure on your shoulders to try to bring this economy back after a shutdown, a self-inflicted shutdown of the country. First things first, the president's going to make some news today. One of our top trading partners, China, what they're doing in Hong Kong and the way they've been acting with this virus is going to prompt some type of White House action today. What could you give us an idea what the president's going to be signing?
Look, step back a second. China has behaved very badly. Lack of information, lack of transparency, lack of cooperation regarding the virus, in cahoots with the World Health Organization, did a lot of damage. We know the origin was in China, and if they had told the truth, perhaps things would have been a lot easier for the rest of the world, where tragically, hundreds of thousands of people have been killed. Now, we are coming to the end of that, which is the good news in the U.S. Regarding Hong Kong, Brian, the breaking news this week, of course, China is now violating a 50-year-old treaty signed by Margaret Thatcher in the late 1980s when she was British Prime Minister. The idea was one country, two systems, and Hong Kong was to be a free, market-oriented democratic system. China is now violating that by taking over national security. People of Hong Kong are furious, and we will not, Secretary of State Pompeo, no autonomy anymore for Hong Kong. I'm not going to front-run the president. The president will be out with some ideas to hold China accountable. Frankly, the U.S. government is, I'll use the word furious at what China has done in recent days, weeks, and months. They have not behaved well, and they have lost the trust, I think, of the whole Western world.
Well, they certainly have a lot of explaining to do. Larry, I understand later today there at the White House is going to be an economic roundtable. What do you hope to accomplish?
We'll be talking with leading CEOs, Steve, covering the waterfront. You know, the things are looking better, okay? Now, we are still in the pandemic contraction. We probably haven't peaked in unemployment, and the numbers coming in the weeks ahead are going to be very poor here in the second quarter. It's a lot of hardship, a lot of heartbreak, okay, a lot of anxiety. So it certainly isn't over. But, I will say this. The virus is flattening and coming downward. The openings are coming across the country. Businesses are opening. New business applications are opening. There's kind of a list, Steve, of all the, I call them glimmers of hope and growth. Cars are driving more. Gasoline prices are up. The Apple Mobility Index is up. We're even seeing on the unemployment claims, which is a terrible number, close to 40 million, but it is slowing in its increase. So there's some hopeful signs, and I think we're going to move strong into the second half of the year with perhaps as much as 20% economic growth. We'll talk about this with the business leaders and next steps on economic policy. We've gone through the liquidity phase. Now we're in the reopening phase. I think the next phase has to go back to old-fashioned Trumponomics, cutting taxes, deregulating, fair trade deals, things that grew the economy rapidly in the first 3 years plus, and things that can grow the economy rapidly in the second half and on to next year. President rebuilt the economy, can do it a second time. We'll have this whole conversation with the CEOs and the others.
You mentioned next steps. The Small Business Administration and the U.S. Treasury has set aside now $10 billion in payroll protection program funding set aside for community development financial institutions. What can you tell us about that, and what do Americans need to know about it?
Well, I think on that point, it's a question of trying to pick up the lower rungs of the ladder, if you will. The bottom quintile hit the most. The smallest businesses hit the most. Community banks, by the way, have stepped up. They've done pretty well. We've issued, I don't know, close to $600 billion worth of loans for all the sniping. I think the program constructed by Secretary Mnuchin has done very, very well. So this just adds to that. There may be some technical changes in congressional legislation to extend the life of the loans, maybe as many as 24 weeks. We'll take a look at that. But it's a hopeful sign.
Okay.
I mean, the key point here, we've got to reward individuals for coming back to work. That's point number one. There will be some kind of reemployment bonus. We're not going to go to the $600. That's a disincentive to work, the plus up. That doesn't work, but we'll have a better idea. The president still wants a payroll tax cut for working people. That'll give them an increase in take-home pay. We're looking at business expensing, capital gains. We want to bring people home from China. Supply chains, you know, we've all learned the hard way. China is not reliable, and we want to help them with some incentives to come back home to America.
All right. Larry Kudlow, we thank you very much.